Hi, I'm Christian.
And I'm Angela, and we are married
And bored. Hey, everybody. Welcome back.
We are doing another Marvel Champions episode. It's a sequel.
It's a sequel. It's like our fourth episode talking about it. So is it the sequel, or maybe it's a new hero?
This is specific to Marvel Champions. I'm going to call it a sequel.
Yeah, no, we're here to talk about a Marvel Champions-focused episode just because we love this game, and you know what? You can't stop us from talking about it, so we're just gonna do it.
Can't stop, won't stop. New things keep happening with this game all the time. So before we get started into some new things that's happening with the game and talking about aspects within the game.
Ooh, yeah, we are going to be talking about aspects, which is a key component to this game, and it kind of is what makes this game unique from other LCGs.
Yeah. Okay, so before we jump into all that fun stuff, Christian, I got to make some corrections.
You have to make some corrections?
Yeah. I believe...
Are you admitting that you were wrong in something?
Okay, you know what, guys? I'm going to drink a little humble juice.
Humble tea.
Humble tea. And I think I made two mistakes. I think it was me. I don't think you made any of them.
Impossible.
No, yeah, impossible. In the last Marvel Champions episode, and I am so sorry, but you know what? I'm going to say what they are in just a second. But before I do, can I just say how gracious and wonderful our community is online and through our emails. We had a couple people correct us on these mistakes, but not in a mean way, not in an aggressive way. So generous, so kind, and even admitted that, hey, there's a lot to remember in this game, so the fact that you get all the rules right is kind of a miracle sometimes.
Yeah.
So let me say what those were. There is a penalty for going through your hero deck. I said there wasn't.
Yeah, because one of our tips in the first episode was to not be afraid of going through your deck. Because at the time we said, no penalty.
Now, I would still stand by not being afraid to go through your deck.
Oh, definitely. Still do that.
But there is a penalty, and the penalty is to deal yourself an encounter card.
Face down to save it for that
the villain
time.
phase. Yeah, excuse Christian's mouth. He is eating a chocolate chip cookie as I talk about my mistakes. And then, when you're playing Marvel Champions, I made the incorrect statement that when one hero dies, the game ends. That is incorrect unless you are solo, because you'd be the only hero. If one hero dies, the rest of the heroes continue to play on until either the villain wins by scheming or defeating your health, or you win by defeating the villain.
Yeah, and that's a funny one because we did look it up, and thank you to everybody who told us exactly where it was in the rule book. It's there, and it's very clear.
I don't know why we missed that.
And we kept on thinking, how did we miss this? It must have happened early on, where it was just well, I'm dead. There's no way Angela could win. So let's just start over.
Well, it's not just that. It's I don't want to keep playing. You want to just watch me play for however long it takes.
Now, if we were one turn away and we knew it,
yeah,
that's a different story. We would definitely play that out. But if it's the villain, Kang is a great example that we, for whatever reason, we struggle with. If he still has 24 health and one of us goes down, good luck.
Yeah. So we probably just mistakenly incorporated a house rule for ourselves there that we just didn't want to keep playing when someone had died. But that is not an actual rule, and it's very clear in the rule book. So sorry, everyone, for those mistakes, but thank you for being gracious, and we hope that if we're ever in a position to correct someone, which may never be happen, but if we are, we're as gracious as you all were to us.
Yeah, so and you know what? Feel free to correct us on this episode too, because there's probably something.
And you guys, we do not claim to be experts. We're just Marvel Champions enthusiasts, and we love playing it. So with that being said, what's some Marvel Champions news, Christian?
And like Angela mentioned, this game, this is the game that just keeps on giving. It's so generous.
It's like Christmas, really.
No, there's constant news. Since we've last chatted about this game, a brand new big box expansion launched, a campaign expansion, Galaxy's Most Wanted.
Woohoo!
Which is great. It gives us 2 new characters. It gives us 5 new encounters to battle through, and it's just a ton of new content for this game, and it's great. Mm-hmm. And it's very hard.
Now, did you say what it's called?
Galaxy. Yeah, I said that.
Oh, you said Galaxy's Most Wanted.
Yeah.
I missed that part.
Mm-hmm.
I was listening to our dog. She's tearing the carpet apart currently. So, yes, it's Rocket and Groot, and it's hard.
Yeah, there's we have played to be honest, or to preface, or whatever the correct word is, we've played the first scenario a couple times, and it's difficult. All of a sudden,
Yep.
And if you've played it, you are fighting a lot of spaceship stuff, and there's so much threat that I don't even know what to do.
Yeah.
Now, I will say I played with the children one time, and we had terrible decks, terrible combination of teams, and we lost in like 3 rounds.
You know what, though? Like, Groot really has me interested in protection, which we're going to talk about aspects this whole episode. So I'll hold off on, like, protection in general. But yeah, Groot is an intriguing character for me.
Yeah, what does he do? Like, what is it?
So he has growth counters that protect him.
Okay.
So throughout the course of the game, you can put growth counters on him through cards, through his action ability on his alter ego side, and also there's a card in Rocket's deck that is able to put growth counters on Groot, and so the bigger he grows, the more he can defend or protect himself.
So it's like temporary HP.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
But it also, through some cards' abilities of his, allows him to hit for more on a turn.
Because
or thwart for more.
He's a bigger tree.
Yep.
That's really cool.
It is cool.
And Rocket is all about just shooting stuff with big guns.
Tech upgrades.
That's what he does. He's really good at fighting minions. So if you're fighting a minion-heavy battle, like Ultron or one of the Green Goblins, he's probably a good choice. Mm-hmm. He gets a lot of bonuses to minions. So, yeah, that's a really quick overview of that. I'm sure we will chat about that in a future episode. Of course, there's just tons going on. So really quick, we also got we bought some upgraded tokens.
Yes, I think we showed them on an Instagram story a week or so ago.
Yeah, definitely go check them out. They are awesome. It's something that I've always wanted to do with some game that I've owned. Mm-hmm. And this is the perfect one because we do play it so much. We invested a little bit of money to get some tokens. We bought them from Etsy. That's not a person, that's the website. If you go to Etsy and you search buy the same token, BUY, the same token, they have a ton of tokens for Marvel Champions, Arkham, and other games, but they do a really good job. And we got like a starter set, and they look really nice.
Yeah,
How do you feel?
We did not buy their whole collection. There's so much to choose from, and because this game keeps growing, their token selection is going to keep growing. They're, like we just mentioned, the growth counters for Groot. They're going to probably have specific tokens just to use for Groot.
Yeah, they're designed to look like Groot and like probably have leaves on it or tree stuff. So I'm looking forward to that for sure. Rocket has a lot of counters for his ammo in all of his weapons. Mm-hmm. So I'm sure something's coming down the road for that. So that's something that we'll probably buy because it's kind of hero specific and it's kind of needed when you play those heroes. So it's pretty cool. It just kind of makes everything feel better,
nicer,
more tactile.
And not that the cards used in the core set for Tough and Stunned and Confused are miniature cards. It's not like they take up lots of play space, but having a token is just that much cleaner than slapping a card on them.
And they're really bright. They're black acrylic with just a bright color, and it will say stunned or confused or have the damage number. Mm-hmm. It's really cool. Check out our Instagram for some shots. check
Better
out.
yet, go to Etsy.
Go buy them. Oh, one additional one that we did get was the Spider-Woman set. Because if you're familiar with the game, Spider-Woman gets bonuses based on the color of card you play. And you can only do that once per round, so it kind of tracks in the color that you play how much bonuses you'll get. So
yes, that's
just kind of a ease of life kind of thing. Is that the right word? Ease of life?
Sure. I'm nodding. I think it's fine. Survey says
just kind of helps you keep track of stuff in the game in a very pretty way.
Yes. What'd you call me?
Very pretty.
Oh, thank you.
Yep. The show's over.
All right. And one last piece of news. We have joined a new league.
Yeah, we're pros.
What's the league, Christian?
We haven't joined it. We're definitely we're kind of just like lurking in the background. Like if you were to go to a party and everyone's hanging out in the middle, we would just be kind of on the outside being like, "Oh, that's cool what they're doing over there. I could do that. I'll play. I'll do that when I get home."
We're observing,
which is what I do at parties, anyways. No, there's a Discord solo league that we found via one of our Instagram friends. I think Sword and Board Games. He plays that all the time, and it is a solo league for Marvel Champions. So you can go to the website, which is bearoverensmith.com. Obviously a Arkham reference there, but there are solo challenges each week. Not each week, it's about 10 days or so that he posts, and he has a way to grade them all and get points. And you did not the first one, but we jumped in on week 2 just because of life, and that happens. But why don't you tell them what you did, what your challenge was?
So my challenge was to play Black Widow with any aspect I want. Those are what we're going to be talking about today, so how appropriate. And they selected the villain and module. So I had to play against Claw with Hydra Assault and then standard. The standard villain encounter set.
And really quick, how did you do?
I like Black Widow, and I didn't win my first 2 because I don't often play Black Widow solo. Well, actually, I don't think I have ever played Black Widow solo until I tried to do this. So I was not used to her having to do all the damage. I was used to her mitigating threat, and I was used to her getting rid of encounter cards, but not doing the damage to the villain. So I had to get the hang of how to do everything myself with one hero. And once I did, I don't think I had like an outstanding win, but I won.
Yeah, and it took you 2 or 3 times to get to that victory. So.
3, probably. So yeah, it was fun. In the league, it's all shown for you on the website that you're supposed to play it 3 times, and you're supposed to report the outcome with different stats, even if you lose. Mm-hmm. So you're not supposed to win 3 times. You're just supposed to play 3 times.
That's the goal. But
the goal is to win. Yes, the goal is to win. And sometimes they will choose the aspect, and you'll get to choose the hero from like a list of 3 or 4. Mm-hmm. But this round that I played, the hero was chosen for me, and then I got to choose the aspect. Right,
and so like the opposite is going on right now, where you can choose one of 4 heroes, but it has to be protection. So if you're into that, if you play solo a lot, this is it's true solo, so it's one character. You don't get to play 2-handed. It's fun. Mm-hmm. At least from what I see, because I haven't done it.
Yeah, and we've talked about this before on the podcast, but it's been a while, so maybe we should remind people, or if there's new people listening, Christian is not normally, if ever, our solo player.
No, I won't.
So in our household, if anyone's going to play solo, it's going to be me.
Yeah, I just can't. I can't do it. I don't know why. Okay. It's not fun.
Christian, we accept you as you are here.
Thank you. So yeah, that's really cool. Definitely check it out. We will have a link to that in the show notes, and also on our blog probably. So check that out, like I said. And another quick thing, I'm going to throw a curveball, Angela. Just today, they announced a brand new hero who's coming to Marvel Champions.
Yes.
Venom, which
Ooh.
I'm very confused on because he's usually a bad guy.
Yeah. He's the anti-hero, I guess.
Yeah, so, and they're doing this Guardians of the Galaxy run, so they have all the Guardians that have already been announced. And then Venom, I guess, was a part of the Guardians for a while. Okay, sure.
News to me.
I'm in it. I will definitely be doing my research there to figure out why and who and...
But he looks, what were your words? He looks
strong.
Strong.
Very
yeah.
strong.
Not beefy like Hulk. Not stats strong, but more like cards.
Yeah,
and
he can do a lot just from there's one line that he said or in the FFG article, they just said they listed a bunch of stuff that you could do, and they said, okay, so you could potentially, in one turn, deal 12 damage to an enemy, remove 10 threat, or deal 6 damage and remove 5 threat in one turn. So it's like so much going on with this guy. It looks really cool. So he's coming in July.
All right, just in time for a July birthday.
Whose birthday's
Oh, that would be mine. Yeah.
All right, well, let's just take a quick break, Angela, and we'll jump back in and just get into the meat of the show and talk about aspects.
Awesome. All right, so we are going to be talking about aspects, which on our first Marvel 101, that's what we called it, right?
Yep.
Marvel Champions 101 that we did about a month ago, we talked about kind of breaking down the game for a beginner. So you could think of this like that if you want, but we're also going to be looking a little bit deeper into each aspect that comes in the game, which we briefly mentioned on our Marvel Champions 101, that this game is a hero deck plus an aspect when you create your deck. And so, what are the 4 aspects real quick, Christian?
Yeah, sure. So the 4 aspects are called justice, aggression, protection, and leadership. And what they do is they all help you win the game in different ways.
Absolutely.
Do you like to hit stuff hard? There's a deck for that. Do you like to take it slow and beef your character up and just take little damage at a time and kind of whittle the bad guy away? There's a deck for that. Do you want to have other people do the fighting for you? there's a deck for that. So you get the idea. And you can use these aspects with any hero.
Yep.
There's 20 heroes, I think, 15 heroes in this game. More coming, like I said earlier. And you just take your hero deck that you want to play, you pick out some dope aspect cards.
Yeah, only the dope ones.
And you put them together to make your deck, and you are good to go. So we wanted to break those down for you guys. And let's just start with one of our favorites. Or maybe it's just mine. I don't know. Justice. So, Angela, what is Justice? If you have the cards, they're the yellow ones. What does the Justice aspect do?
Okay, well, Justice is there to mitigate threat. So to try to stop the villain from scheming, to remove threat from side schemes and main schemes, and by doing that, to maybe also attack. Like, there's some cards that allow you to remove the threat and then attack, or attack and then remove threat if you defeat it. So it's all about removing threat.
Yeah, it's about slowing the villain down to give you and your team more time to punch the villain. Because even if you're playing solo, you can't win by just worrying about threat. You still have to punch the villain.
But like on solo Discord that we just talked about, I did play Black Widow Justice and won. So you can win with Justice, but it's primarily focused on thwarting.
Yeah, so we hope that kind of helps make sense of what they do. And we just thought we're not going to go super deep into all these, but we wanted to just quick mention a couple cards that we both like. and always probably include in our decks when we play Justice. One of mine is Beat Cop.
Ooh, Beat Cop.
Beat Cop is a support. It's a newer one. I'm going to look it up as I talk here, but what it does, it is every turn you can exhaust Beat Cop to move one threat from a scheme onto Beat Cop. So every turn, that's one threat less that you have to deal with. That's pretty good. And then once it has any amount of threat on it, instead of exhausting it to take that threat away, you can exhaust it for the Beat Cop to punch a minion. Yep. And all the threat that you took off onto the Beat Cop now turns into damage to a minion. So that's pretty cool.
Yes. So the longer you keep it in play, the more damage it'll be able to do to a minion. So it could get very powerful.
Yeah.
Depending on how early you get it out and how many rounds you have it go for before you use it to defeat the minion. Because once you use it to defeat a minion, it does discard.
Yeah, it's a free threat every turn. And you know what? You can have more than one of these, which is super cool too.
Yeah. Yes.
Like, I've had two of them going at a time, and then all of a sudden, you know what? That terrible thing happens where Shadows of the Past gets flipped, and your minion gets into play against you, and you're like, oh man, I'm screwed. And then there's the Beat Cop, slowly walking down the sidewalk, and he's like, bang, 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 I got 8 damage for you, and Vulture's dead.
Boom. Yes.
So it comes in handy. It's a little expensive for 3, but it's one of my favorites to play. It has saved my life many times.
Oh my goodness, that's right. So see, there's a good example of a Justice that it's focused on threat, but then it combines the damage. So like these Justice cards are doing damage, or I should say not all of them, but they can do damage. It's just always somewhat about threat. One of my favorites is Under Surveillance with Justice.
Okay, that's a good one.
It attaches to a main scheme, and it increases the threat value of that scheme by 4. So whatever, like let's say it says 6 threat per person, and then this main scheme is done, which means you'll either have to flip to the next main scheme or the game's over, depending on which main scheme you're on. So that allows you some more time because it increases that limit. You think of it as you just have that number just goes up by 4. So if it was a 6 per person, now it's in your solo, then now it's 10. I think it's especially useful in solo because that per person
modifier
is so important.
Yeah.
When we play 2 people mostly, but when I sometimes play with the kids and it's me and 2 kids, there's 3 of us. So if it's 8 per person, well, that's a 24 threat threshold, which, I mean, it can happen quicker.
Adding
sometimes
4 doesn't seem like a big deal.
But when you're only one person, adding 4 to that main scheme is...
it could be 4 rounds.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It could be a really big thing.
Yeah.
I will say before we talk about the next part of Justice, I kind of view Justice as like in 2 different ways. So I think of Justice as preparation for... There's a certain way you can play Justice where you can prepare yourself and set up things so that when bad things happen, your cards are already laid out in front of you. And then I feel like there's another way to play Justice, which is just to deal with the threat as it comes.
That's the way I play it.
Yeah. But, that might just be like my analysis of Justice. Because I have played Justice, and like Christian mentioned, we do love it. We love Justice. And I've played Justice with Black Widow, and I've played Justice well, you have played Justice primarily, but we've played with Ant-Man. We've even played with like Hulk or people that are not normally seen with Justice. And I would play Black Widow very differently with Justice than I would play any of those other three I mentioned.
Yeah, and I think that has to do with what the hero is good at. So, like,
Yeah.
depending on the hero you choose, you're going to approach it very differently.
Yes.
Now, you may be wondering, like, hey, Christian, Angela, I have the core set. I don't see these cards in my set. Well, that's because you do have to buy some of the expansions to get these two cards that we talked about. So Beat-Cop can be found in the Hulk expansion, and then Under Surveillance is found in Thor. So just if you don't know where they are and you want to find these cards, in my opinion, you kind of want everything, because the more cards you get, the better your deck is going to be, and you're going to have more fun that way. You can obviously live without these cards. In our experience, these cards have done well for us.
Yes, and maybe you have different favorite Justice cards. And honestly, if we did this a week from now or a month from now, we might have different favorite Justice cards. These are just, that's the great thing about this game. Whenever we talk about it, it's more like we're talking about our current favorites and not our favorites ever, because so much changes all the time.
Yeah, because there are new heroes, and each hero plays differently. So Under Surveillance is not that... I don't like it as much as Angela does, because
Right.
I wouldn't use it as much. I would just be like, well, I've got other cards that help me get threat out. Reduce threat more than expanding the villain's limit.
Yeah.
That's just my...
Well, speaking of
thought.
current favorite, can you tell us, Christian, what your current favorite hero to pair with Justice is?
Yeah, so I'm kind of like a hero sommelier. I take a hero and I can pair it with the best aspect.
Look at that.
Not really. I'm not good at it at all. I just love picking one and another and going with it. But one that I have had a lot of success with, Angela mentioned it, is Ant-Man. We did a campaign of the Red Skull Rising, or whatever it's called, and with Ant-Man, and I played him Justice, and he was just killing it.
Killing it.
Which is funny to me. He doesn't seem like that kind of hero. He seems like he would get big and hit hard, and then get small and get away. But it works really well. Those little army ants help you out. There's a card called, I think it's like Hive Mind or something, where depending on how many of those ants you have out, you can thwart a ton. So I just had a lot of success playing Justice and Ant-Man.
Yeah. Yeah, and just that he has two hero forms as well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's really fun.
That helps. I think it's lay down the law is a really good one with Ant-Man. It's a Justice card, just because it says when you change to a hero form, you're able to remove quite a bit of threat for a 1 cost. It's a 1 cost card. Well, that only happens... it doesn't happen as frequently with other heroes, because besides Wasp, no other hero has 2 hero sides.
Yeah.
So this just has a lot of opportunity with Ant-Man, and you played that one a lot. It removes a potential of 4 threat
Yep.
for 1 cost.
It's really great.
Yeah.
And I could be wrong. I'm gonna do a rule here. I think even if you went from your alter ego to hero, you could play this card. So it's whatever form you're changing, you can still do that too. So rule people, let me know.
Yeah. Well, yeah, it's a hero response. So
Yeah.
I think that's correct. I just meant that Ant-Man can change.
You could
to
play
2
this
different heroes.
twice.
Yeah.
Yeah. Which would be, I've done it and it's awesome.
Yes.
So yeah, Justice is great. I have a lot of fun playing it. That Venom deck I talked about earlier comes with Justice stuff. I'm really looking forward to that.
Woo.
So there's Justice. If you have any Justice questions, you can talk to us, I guess, or Batman's all about Justice, but that's a different universe.
Oh, is that different? DC?
Yep. So let's jump into, I would say, one of probably your favorite.
I think so.
Yeah, and it fits your personality.
It's so generous.
No, let's talk about aggression. So I mentioned wanting to hit stuff hard. That's what aggression is about. You want to describe it a little bit?
I don't know if there's any more description. Aggression is just like a full-on hitting.
Assault. Yeah.
And it does it in different ways, of course, and it can combine hitting with thwarting or defeating a minion with thwarting, just like Justice can thwart and combine it with damage, but it is all the cards have to do with hitting.
Yep. So that's easy. It just boosts your basic attacks and gives you extra attacks and lets you stand so you can attack again. There's all sorts of cards that help you hit hard and hit more often.
Yep.
So Angela, this is funny to me because like you've played a ton of aggression since day one when we got the core set.
Yeah.
You're like, this is what I like to do.
I do.
I have played aggression. I could probably count on one hand how many times.
You don't really like it as much.
You would think that I would like to hit stuff hard.
Because in other games, you tend to be that way. Like, you tend to play characters that are more of the heavy hitters.
Yeah. Yeah. But then I think of, like, my video game style is more like, let's just get really strong and hit stuff kind of hard.
Oh, just
like,
kind of?
Like, have a lot of armor and build that up.
Okay.
Which is, like, protection, which we're talking about next. But, so yeah, why don't you tell us, because I haven't played it enough, I don't feel like I have favorite cards in this aspect.
Okay.
So what are some of your 2 or 3 key cards that really have helped you with your aggression?
With my aggression.
And again, these ones will be in packs, and we'll mention where you can find each one.
Okay, so the first one that came to mind is Skilled Strike. I love this aggression card because it is a 0 cost and it adds 2 attack onto your basic attack. So you can just boom, lay that down, and you can boost for 2. And maybe you have a combat training out, which is another red aggression card, which permanently increases your attack by 1. So now for that 1 hit, you're hitting like 3 above your basic attack. And so there's just a lot of good combos like that.
Yeah, like Miss Marvel. What if you put this as an event, right? So you get +1 for playing the event, +2 on the card, and then you had the combat training. I've lost count, but that's like 7 damage in 1 turn.
Well, and she has Embiggen cards.
Yeah,
too.
so you could really stack this crazily.
Yes. So I love Skilled Strike. Ooh, that 0 cost is so nice. It's so nice. Okay.
Finger kiss or whatever that thing is. And where can they, if it's not in the core set, unfortunately.
It's not.
And where can they find that?
You can find it in Doctor Strange.
Which, he's like the number 1 most powerful hero in this game. Go get Doctor Strange.
Yeah, you need to go get Doctor Strange.
Seriously.
Then another one is Relentless Assault. That is a core set, right? I believe so.
Yeah, I think so.
Relentless Assault allows you to hit a minion, and if you use a punch resource to pay for the card, it does any excess damage done to the minion goes to the villain.
There you go.
So you can kind of do 2 things at once, especially if you have like a minion who has 1 health remaining, or maybe you just have a smaller minion like a weapons runner that only has 2 health in front of you. You can deal 5 damage, which kills the minion, but also the excess damage gets to go to the bad guy.
Overkill is great. If you can always get a boost for overkill, it is most always worth it. You had said this was your favorite card, and you showed me it, and I looked at it, and it has Rocket on it.
Yeah.
And I was like, this is a brand new card. We just got it last week because we got the new expansion, right?
No, it's in the core set.
Which blew my mind. That's how little I have played aggression. To be fair, it is in the new Galaxy's Most Wanted. So
yes, it is.
If you have that, you have more copies because you can't play Galaxy's Most Wanted without the core. So cool.
There you go. All right. There's a lot of ones I could mention as well, since it is my favorite, but we'll just leave it at that.
There you go.
Okay, the next aspect.
Let's talk about really quick.
Oh, sorry.
Yeah.
I jumped over.
We talked about my favorite Justice hero, so why don't you talk about your favorite aggression hero? I definitely know what this is, but why don't you tell everybody why and who it is?
I'm so interested to hear who you think it is, because I have two.
Okay, so I think I know who they are, but I'll just let you go because I don't want to ruin it.
You don't actually know. I think he's bluffing.
Okay, ready? On the count of 3, say...
Should I say the one I was going to say?
The one that comes in the core set.
Okay.
1, 2, 3, She-Hulk.
Oh, no, Iron Man.
Iron Man?
Yeah.
I don't know who I'm sitting next to anymore.
Again, current favorite.
Current. Okay, tell us what's up.
Oh, man. Iron Man and aggression. It's a sweet pairing, if you will. Notes of honey, undertones of... No, I'm just kidding.
Walnut.
No, I love... Okay, I should rewind a second and say when we got the core set, hated Iron Man. I was like, why would anyone ever play him? He's terrible. He sucks. He can't hit for anything.
He's arrogant.
You can't do anything with him. And then, so the reason why you probably said She-Hulk is because that's who I dove into on the core set right away.
You played her non-stop, as they say in Hamilton.
I do still love She-Hulk, but my current favorite with aggression is probably Iron Man. So I love that you can build up his suit, and then he can draw 7 cards.
As a hero?
As a hero.
That's really good.
Which normal is, as a hero, is probably 5.
Yeah, or 4. Mm-hmm.
Hulk does 4 as a hero, but mostly it's 5. To have 7 card draw as a hero is fantastic. And then you put the extra punches that aggression allows you to have with Iron Man's suit capabilities, and it is magnificent. You can do a whole bunch of damage on just one turn. Only drawback is that going aerial up in the air for Iron Man requires mental resources, and those are few and far between with the aggression cards.
Yeah.
So,
but luckily Ariel, at least right now, doesn't do a lot.
Well,
depending on the card.
Yes.
And who you're playing, whatever. Mm-hmm. But there's not a huge, at least right now, a giant benefit for going aerial. Yes. It's funny that you say that you like him with aggression. I would say a ton of people online love Iron Man Justice. So that's the flexibility of the game.
Exactly.
You can play anybody any way you want. You said you had 2 favorites. Now, I only did mention one favorite for Justice, so we'll never know what your second one is.
Okay, just skip right over it. That's fine.
What is it?
I'll just say real quick, it's Thor.
I was going to guess Thor. You know what?
But only, and I mean only, if there are a moderate to a lot of minions in the villain encounter set.
Yeah, who have you had success fighting as Thor?
Ultron drones with Thor is just like, it's butter, baby. It's butter.
Butter? Ultron, and then one of the goblins, of course.
Yeah, mutagen formula, Green Goblin.
Yep. I remember once we tried doing the Wrecking Crew with Thor, and it was not good.
Terrible.
Not
terrible.
Good. So yeah, Thor is great. He hits hard, basic attack. Might as well boost that. Get some overkill going with that Relentless Assault, and
get that mean swing and get over here cards, which are great aggression cards for 0 cost. I'm just saying.
You're hitting minions. You're hitting 1 to 2 life minions for 7, and that excess is going to the villain. So definitely check it out. All right, let's take a quick break here. We'll come back and wrap up the last 2 aspects.
This episode is sponsored by Showit. Are you stuck in a boring website template? Maybe you don't even know where to start. Experience the true creative freedom with the drag and drop simplicity of a Showit website. Our website, marriedandbored.com, is a Showit website, and we love how simple it is to create. Get started for free at showit.co. You won't be disappointed.
All right, so protection. Everybody wants to feel safe.
Yes, everybody does want to feel safe.
So if you are a video gamer, you like playing the tank online, you like having high armor, high life stats, protection might be the one you want to look at first. It plays probably very differently than any of the other aspects because of what the main thing you're going to be doing as protection. Why don't you describe a little bit more about that?
Protection just boosts your armor, basically. Your defense. It's going to allow you to either put stuff on your hero that boosts their defense, or perhaps it allows you to temporarily increase your defense. And of course, like all the aspects, it'll combine that with attacks, or it'll combine that with stun. But protection, spoiler alert, is my least favorite. And I think you alluded to this, but it's because I don't think I have the swing of how to play protection down, because protection is, how do I say it? You play a lot of your cards during the villain phase. Maybe not a lot, but you have to be prepared to play cards during the villain phase.
I would say the majority is done during the villain phase. You do very little during your actual hero phase. Obviously, you want to boost up the ability to draw more cards and to maybe boost your attack a little bit if you can, so that you can obviously use your actions to whittle down that villain. But I mean, you said butter a lot already, but your bread and butter as protection is defending and not taking damage.
Mm-hmm. And thereby dealing damage back.
Yeah, there are a ton of cards that say, if you don't take damage, stun a villain, kill a minion, do 6 damage back. It's all over the place like that. So let's jump into the couple cards that we like. Angela, why don't you talk about yours?
Well, similar to the reverse of the aggression thing, you were saying you gave me aggression. I'd kind of hand over protection to you. The only one that came to mind for protection is the Never Back Down that came in the Quicksilver. So that was pretty recent.
Yeah, mine is very new as well. So this is a Quicksilver one.
This came in the Quicksilver deck. It helps you, it boosts your defense temporarily against an attack from the villain or a minion. It gives you 2 defense, plus 2 defense, I should say. And if you end up taking no damage, then you get to stun the attacking enemy, which for a 1 cost, I think is really great, especially if your defense is already boosted from other cards like Armored Vest, that you have in play. This could easily have you take no damage from an attack.
Yeah, it's a really good card. So the problem that I have with protection right now is I like to play it and I want to play it more. I'll say that. Like, it's one of those where I just haven't, it's like I haven't figured it out exactly yet. I think I could be really good at it. I have a hard time defending without taking damage. I don't know how to boost that up and to make that happen most of the time. Usually it's like, okay, yeah, I'll defend. Will the villain hit you for 35? And it's like, well, I only have plus 2 defense from this card. So the bonuses never kick in for me. And that's what's frustrating right now about protection. So if you have any protection tips, for me, even we've been playing this for 18 months, almost 2 years. I'd love to hear it.
We have been pretty much avoiding protection, though.
Yeah. There was a spell where I played it for a while.
But Quicksilver and now Groot coming with those protection cards and have made us definitely more interested in checking it out. Groot comes with some interesting protection cards, and because of his growth counters, they protect him as well. So he has protection cards that allow him to, as long as he's at full health or higher, which is easy to maintain with Groot, or I should say easier than other heroes, he gains Retaliate, which hits the villain back. So there's a lot of cool protection cards with Groot as well.
Yeah, definitely. The one that I wanted to mention is a brand new one from Scarlet Witch deck. It is called Bait and Switch. Like Angela says, they always have combos. This one, the action is you force the villain to attack you, and because he attacks you, you remove 4 threat from a scheme. So hopefully you have your updated defense, or you have cards that would just negate damage, or you have an ally out there to block for you, I guess. Would be an option too, and it's just a free. You have to take the attack, but it's 4 threat, which is a lot. So that's a great one that you can get from Scarlet Witch. And so, favorite heroes. We kind of alluded to this. We don't play a lot of protection. I've had success in the past with Captain America because he can do this all day. That action that he can do to discard a card to keep standing every turn is great for this. And also Quicksilver, who never exhausts. He's really great at defending too. Not the greatest. Would love to get better. So definitely try Quicksilver, Captain America, and like we said, Groot came with a lot of new cards. So
yeah,
that's where you want to look for protection.
And I think protection is the aspect that's required on the current Discard Solo League round right now.
All right. Well, we're gonna jump. You're jumping in.
I'm gonna have to get good at something or die trying.
That's right. So let's talk about our final one. It's called Leadership. Angela.
Leadership is all about, well, kind of how it sounds. You are getting all these allies out and you are leading them into the fray. So you're leading them into battle. You can find them, ready them, boost them, but it's all about your allies. And they are the blue cards if you are looking at the colors.
It's true. We didn't mention colors for aggression.
Aggression's red.
Yeah, because aggression is anger, which is red.
And protection's green.
So yeah, like Angela mentioned, it's all about those allies. And boosting those allies to make them better, make them easier to play, maybe expanding the number of allies you can play on your team. So it's really strong. They're always there to block for you. It's at least one free attack or one free thwart, depending on who the hero is.
Or the ally that you play?
Sorry, yes, the ally. And they all do special things. So why don't we just hit really quickly some key cards that we can that you should include in your leadership deck.
Yes. What do you think? You go first.
You want me to go first? So I think one of the best ones, or one of the earliest ones that a lot of people play, is the Hawkeye card.
Which one? Clint?
So there are two now, but the OG Hawkeye, Clint Bishop. No.
Clint Barton.
Clint Bishop. Kate Bishop, Clint Barton. Every time a minion comes out, he's got a counter. You can just deal 2 damage to it. Shoots him with his arrow, boom, 2 damage for free. That's really great.
Like that.
There's one called Make the Call, which I believe came in the core set, but I will double check that right now. You can search, I believe, anybody's discard pile.
Yep.
And pay the cost and play that ally. So I guess we should probably say that each aspect does have allies that are specific to that aspect. So you're always going to have allies ready for you to play. The difference between leadership and the others is that the leadership boosts those allies more than the other decks do. So yeah, Make the Call is really great. Why don't you like this one a lot?
I think that in every aspect there's allies, like Christian said, but I could be wrong about this, but I'm pretty sure leadership has the majority of the allies.
Yeah.
And Maria Hill and Squirrel Girl are ones that we see consistently in leadership decks that are ours, or that we find on the Marvel
CBD.
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 I always want to say
Gotcha.
CBD. Yes. So Maria Hill, she's only cost 2, and when she comes out, everyone gets to draw a card. It's really nice when the first player plays Maria, because then their turn's not over, and the other player, your other hero, gets to draw a card and their turn's not over. So that's really nice. She thwarts for 2. She attacks for 1. She doesn't have a lot of health, but she can take an attack for you and save you 1 round.
Yeah, for a card, that's taking 6 damage or
Yes.
drawing a card and having her die is a great turn off. Or turn off? No. Trade off.
Trade off.
Jeez.
Turn off? Okay. And then Squirrel Girl, I mean, depending on the villain you're playing, but like we mentioned, the Ultron drones, as long as they're not boosted by some other encounter card, the Ultron drones are all 1 health. So when Squirrel Girl comes out, she enters play and deals 1 damage to each enemy.
Yeah.
So she could come out and she could wipe out every single drone minion on the board, plus deal a damage to the villain. So that's really great. She doesn't have a lot of health and she doesn't do much else, but her entrance into the game is crazy, cool, and nutty.
Nutty.
Should we say that?
Let's get nuts. When you play her at the right time and you know when you do, it's really great. You're just like 1 1 1 1 1 1 1 1 1
Yeah.
all over the place, and it can kind of turn the tides to a battle that you're in the middle of. You can find Squirrel Girl in Captain America booster set. So I think, Angela, that wraps it up. No,
You forgot to pair a hero with this aspect.
I did. Why don't you talk about your favorite hero
Oh,
to play
well,
leadership with?
hands down, Doctor Strange.
Doctor Strange's leadership is crazy strong.
Ally Swarm, if you look on the... Oh my gosh, now I'm going to say CBD again.
Marvel CBD.
Marvel CDB. If you look that up, it is a crazy good deck. Christian mentioned we did the Rise of Red Skull campaign where he was Ant-Man Justice. I played Doctor Strange Leadership, and man, we
rocked it.
We rocked it.
Yeah,
So,
we didn't play expert.
We did
because
not.
we are not experts. But that combination of Doctor Strange boosting your own allies, being able to boost me as well, was great.
Yes.
So that's good. So yeah, definitely, like I said, for the second time, pick up Doctor Strange. You would not regret
Doctor
it.
Strange, absolutely.
So for realsies this time, let's wrap up this episode. Is there anything else? Well, I guess what we should do actually is let's not forget our gray cards, the basics. Basic
neutrals.
You can add basic cards to any of these decks. It's not an aspect. They are just called basic cards, and they do stuff for you as well. They can boost your card draw. There's basic allies, which you can include in a leadership deck, and you can boost those. So they are just supplemental cards that you add to your hero cards and the aggression to fill out your 40 card deck.
Yes.
So we can't forget about them. They are just as important as the aspects.
Maybe. No, you need those neutral cards.
Yeah. So as we wrap up the show, I just did want to mention that if you're new to this game and you're just like, man, I don't know what to do, where do I even start? I would go to hallofheroeslcg.com. It is another resource for this game, and they have a section that has it's like a deck Hall of Fame. So if you're like, man, I really want to play a good deck from Captain Marvel, they have it linked to the Marvel CDB of what is considered one of their better decks. So you can go right to this website. It will link you right to what you need to go to. You may not have everything, but you can always fill in the gaps with the missing cards that you have. It's a great place to get started if you're still confused on what these aspects are and how they, fit with a specific hero.
Yeah.
Anything you want to add before we go?
Just that we have decided to try we've already started the Rise of Red Skull campaign again. This time is our Sokovian siblings, Quicksilver and
That's right.
and Scarlet Witch. So we'll be reporting on that. We've been enjoying starting the Falcon and Winter Soldier series on Disney Plus, and yeah,
So much Marvel.
so much Marvel.
And that's why we're talking about it. So we hope everyone's having fun with this game. Definitely let us know what some of your favorites are. What's your favorite hero to pair with what aspect? Correct us on all of our wrong rules, because we probably made errors. I think that'll do it.
Yeah.
Thanks as always for listening. Angela, why don't you hit us with how they can contact us?
Yeah, you can find us on Instagram. We're at Married and Bored. You can email us hello@marriedandbored.com. You can visit our website, marriedandbored.com. And also, Christian mentioned in our last normal episode, I should say.
This episode, whatever.
How many Twitter followers are we at now?
I think we're at 14.
We got 14.
So we're +2.
So it's because we're not at Married and Bored at Twitter. What are we?
We're at Married Bored.
Married Bored. Okay?
So we would love to grow our Twitter following. That would be amazing. So look us up. Please give us a follow and a shout out.
Yes. Love this community. We hope to meet you around the mic again in a few weeks for another episode. Till then.
Bye.
Thanks for listening to this episode of the Married and Bored podcast. And guess what? We have a website where you can listen to podcast episodes and so much more. Find us at marriedandbored.com, or you can email us at hello@marriedandbored.com, or follow us on Instagram at marriedandbored. Music in this episode is by Joseph McDade. See you next time.